I want to know how you guys are feeling because I'm feeling amazing. Playoffs are here. We got to get these regular season videos out of the way. We did the 5th team. We did the 4th team. And it is now time to get into the top 3, the real All-NBA teams. So without further ado, we will start with the 2 players that if you would ask me before the season started, who are the 2 best guards in the league? Who are the 2 guys that you would bet on to make the All-NBA first team? Well, I would have bet on these guys, the 2 best guards in the league, Luka Doncic and Steph Curry. Now, we can get into what solidifies you as the best at any certain time, but the truth is that the guys above these 2, they're just not stamped at the same level. We just haven't seen them perform on playoff stages in necessarily the same way. And it's not as if these guys are lacking something or they're playoff chokers or anything like that necessarily, but some of them are unproven and young guys. Some of them just don't have the resume. But regardless, that's not what this video is about. Why are these guys not on the first team or the second team? Besides just the obvious cop-out, oh, these guys just had better years. Well, first of all, Steph Curry played 56 games this year, which isn't amazing. And his record in those 56 games, it was okay. It was not Warriors-esque. It was not the standard. It was not what we expect, especially a full season of Klay Thompson. I know you miss Andrew Wiggins a lot. You definitely missed a lot of time. But these are the defending champs. And Steph, he's shooting the ball as good as ever, but from a pure level of domination when he's on the court, it's not been his best season, and that's okay. And that on top of the fact that he missed a ton of games, and that he even couldn't win games on the road, even when they had Andrew Wiggins, he couldn't win games on the road. It's a team game, of course. It's not like this Warriors team had all of the components that the championship Warriors team of last year had during the playoff run. Gary Payton just now rejoins the team. Wiggins, of course, misses a lot of time. Jordan Poole just does not get better at all. In fact, he gets worse. So none of those things help, but of course, Steph couldn't get it done all by himself. He's still not a good defensive player. Nothing changes there, but it's just a lack of being so dominant in the offensive end that none of that stuff matters. Luka was in MVP talks all year. He's played pretty much the whole season, and before this team ended up with Kyrie Irving, it looked like he was definitely going to finish All-NBA first team. He's got the numbers, obviously. Carries a team on his back. He's got the signature performances, clutch play, etc. The whole Kyrie trade fucked everything up. I think the biggest thing that this trade did, as far as Luka's concerned, is put a spotlight on where he still has room to grow. Obviously, he's making this team for a reason, but we can see the lack of maturity, the over-complaining to officials, not getting back on defense in general, can't guard a parked car. I'm looking at all this stuff, and I know the guy is a marvel. I know he is a one-man show, but this season definitely left me feeling like he has a lot of room to grow as far as being a team player, and that's not just the defensive side of the ball either, but also the way that he plays offense. And it's interesting to look at some of the players that left Luka and how they're playing after they leave Luka versus when they're playing with Luka. I think you can kind of compare it to LeBron and a lot of the teammates he's had in his career. He's just a hard guy to play with. And while that is up to the Dallas Mavericks front office, how they build a team, I think they've done a decent job at establishing him as the guy and making sure other guys know their roles. But just the way that they are defined, it's so one note, it's so predictable. You just don't have to worry about the other guys on the team if Luka's going to be dribbling the air out the ball every play. And now with him and Kyrie, it's just them both doing that. You got to worry about 2 guys, but what are the other guys doing? And then on the other end, they can't guard anybody anyway. So definitely some room to grow for Luka. But like I said, they're here because they're the 2 best guards in the league, arguably still. I don't know if I would change how I feel about that, even with how this season turned out. But there is definitely greater room for discussion as far as that's concerned. Let's move on to the forwards. This is where it got really tricky. Julius Randle and Jaylen Brown on my All-NBA third team. Julius Randle played the whole year until he got this recent injury, and I guess that's why I have to penalize him, just because these teams are constructed in a large sense based on your availability, which is a term that Julius Randle has always embodied. He's always available. He is always on the basketball court. There's never an injury problem. He gets this recent injury, whatever. Knicks prove they can win some games without him, which sort of gives credence to the idea that, yeah, Jalen Brunson is the number 1 guy on this team. Not just that, but also the clutch time in the game, who's taking the big shots, who's steadying the offense, who's the most important guy, team guy. All signs, I would say, point to Brunson, who has had a miraculous season. This video's not about him, but just something to put in here. Like Julius Randle, he's had an amazing season. Stats-wise, fills the box score, one of the best rebounders in the NBA. They've done a great job at it this year, and he's had another amazing season after making All-NBA second team a couple years ago. He might make the All-NBA second team again, but what a bounce back. Great season for Julius Randle. Now, Jaylen Brown, this is another hard one, because he played a lot too. He just got that recent injury, but He played the majority of the season, and he took another leap. Despite playing with a guy like Jason Tatum, he still puts up monster scoring numbers, super efficient, and takes challenges in the defensive end. He's such a key part of what they do. I do say, like, Jason Tatum has the best supporting cast out of any player in the NBA as far as the number one player is concerned, but so much of that is just Jaylen Brown, because this team doesn't have a lot of big man depth. They have guard depth for absolute days, but Jaylen's importance to the team, alongside Jason Tatum, as that other steadying force. It feels like this guy can just get a bucket whenever you need it. He's also a guy that can just get to the paint and get a foul, pretty much every type of shot in his arsenal, and he totally deserves All-NBA this year. At the center position, the most obvious one, by far, Domantas Sabonis. Best season of his career, playing center for the first time in his career, and he's pretty much a Joker light, pushes the ball, he runs the offense. He is such an important player on this team. A huge part of why the Kings are such a good basketball team is because of the way they are designed with him and Fox, and you just put shooters everywhere. But the fact that you have two guys pretty much doing everything. But even though each of those two guys have a star next to them, it's pretty much just them two and a collection of parts that makes a great team, but not necessarily any third guy, any third playmaker. As far as initiators of the offense, guys that are going to be facilitating, just generating looks, generating openings in a defense, it's just these two guys pretty much doing it all, and the way they do it is so unique, especially Domantas Sabonis, who's had a monster year. Best year of his career, as I said. So shout out to him, but he's obviously not better than the top two centers in the league. We don't even have to talk about that. That's going to do it. All-NBA third team.